Welcome back to another podcast. This episode is going to be stuff that we haven't been able to do / want to do, right?
Some ideas that we
for
had
shorts.
For some of our shorts that you may or may not have seen, because we have a lot of ideas and we wanted to do a lot of things for a lot of them that just didn't get to happen just because of the way things happen.
/ we weren't capable at the time of being able to do it. Just because of the limitations. So I thought we could start with our most recent Monsters in the Making episode 2. Go watch it. I think it was pretty entertaining. We definitely wanted to make it more entertaining, but we're unable to. We didn't have a Sasquatch costume, and we're also a little bit scared of working with people right now due to the pandemic.
Yeah, we're trying to keep it as small as we can.
To us. We're trying to keep it to us. So with Monsters in the Making, we wanted a Sasquatch costume or like a gorilla costume, because that's who she was babysitting, and we didn't want it like totally involved.
No,
but we just had a few ideas.
We had like especially one specific idea. So if you saw it, there's a section where my character finds a trap that she thinks is for the Sasquatch. It's secretly actually for her, which she fell into, but she got out of. Spoilers, sorry. If you've watched it already, it's not a spoiler for you. But, and then we figured out, like, this is for her, and we just thought it would be so funny for her to just be, like, off in, like, the distance, she's just talking to the camera, it's, like
an
on
interview.
her face. All of a sudden, the camera just turns and just, like, pans over her shoulder, just zooms in. You just see this, like, gorilla beast, like, peering out from behind a bush, and just with its, like, hand on her up, just, like...
Yeah.
looking, and it just zooms back, and she's just like what are you looking at?
Like,
and it's just like
Ashley's hunting for the Sasquatch, for the Sasquatch is hunting Ashley, and we wanted like to have like a few more like just like little cameos, like with Ashley like doing suicide calls, like to have like the person going like really
just
like
gives an office look to the camera.
You know, little things like that, and like we wanted like a blooper scene to be like the Sasquatch sitting in the interview chair talking, but it's like gibberish.
So it's just like with like subtitles over it.
Yeah.
We just thought those would be just such funny ideas to include, but honestly,
we thought it really would have like brought up the short. You know,
there was another idea that I just thought of that that fell out of my mind. It had something to do with Sasquatch costume.
Oh yeah, with
there
my
was
mom. We wish my mom was there so that remember like asking random people, have you seen this person, and holding up like the Sasquatch and holding up the Sasquatch photo to random people, and we were hoping to plant my mom there.
God, we were even just walking, and we saw this lady coming up to us, and it was like, what if I just like went up to her and it was like, ma'am, have you seen this child?
Yeah. Like in the back of a milk carton, have you seen this child?
We were like, we just thought it would be so funny.
God. We
didn't end up doing it though. We should have done it to the lady who was just walking by. But it's also like we don't want to like film people without their permission. And it's like she was right next to me, so she'd be holding up like the big, like you saw it if you watched the behind the scenes what the camera looked like. It's like this big in the cage. So she would just be like zooming in. The person would probably be too focused on that to look at the Sasquatch photo.
Yeah, having the camera in the cage will intimidate people because it's like this thing, and people go, "Oh, that looks kind of professional." That scares me.
People get weirded out if they see us filming, because filming in public is not a thing that really happens here. I'm sure like if you maybe like in Boston it would be a little bit more normal. Or, like, LA would probably obviously, like, be normal except, like, Film Central. But, like, up here in just, like, little New Hampshire, like, people see a camera out in public and they get weirded out.
Or they give you dirty looks. Because there was one time we were filming in the park. Literally no one else was in it but Ashley. And parents were, like, giving us evil eyes. And a police officer also was just, like, kind of checking. I'd be like, what do you think we're doing?
Yeah.
Like, what do you think you can only see Ashley.
Like, we never filmed, like, people without their permission, or the only time we did was for, like, the Mary Alice Goes Out. But even that, like, wasn't really, like, a ton of reactions. But, yeah, there was a blooper that I wanted to include in, because I wanted to make the note from Susie's mom funny, because I wanted to be, like, because me and our deadbeat dad gotta get this sorted out. And I just want to have like a blooper of just like saying ridiculous things in the note like that.
Yeah.
It's just like deadbeat Sasquatch dad.
So was there anything in episode 1 that you wish that we could have done? I think we did everything in episode 1.
Episode 1, I mean, we can just like talk about that in general because that was an experience. So
episode 1 was actually made for my final.
Yeah.
For school.
How did that do? What was the grade you got?
I think I got an A. I don't know. I never got the thing back, but I did really good in the class, so I was like, I'm assuming I got an A. It was actually for my final, but we ended up be like, you know what? We'll do 2 birds with 1 stone. We'll just also post it on YouTube. And
see, I don't even remember like the things like that, like because I remember filming different things, and I just never remember what was actually for like YouTube and what was for your classes.
We filmed a lot for my classes. Maybe I should go back through my old stuff and just make a collage of my school stuff. Because we did like a day in the life of Maka. She was the voice of Maka.
That was a long time ago. I wasn't even at Keene for that.
We did the Bolex, which is actual film, and I had to go get it processed. Yeah,
that's like an old camera. Do you have the footage for that? Oh yeah, that was the vampire one. It was what was the one that was lost?
What was lost?
You had footage that got lost, so you never got it back for one of your projects.
Oh yeah, that was also for Bolex, and we were in a group, and we were filming in like hallways and stuff because
you gonna do something like with a ball.
Yeah, someone in a group wanted to animate a ball, so we were. They lost the footage. So we never got to do that. But things like that. Anyways, episode 1, we're asking for children. Like, does anyone have a child? And then Lisa's like, Jolin, because Jolin likes horror. Yeah, he's a really fun child.
He is the little brother of one of our friends.
Yes.
And obviously, like, friends with our mom, too. Like, her mom and our friend's mom are friends. So it's like one like big circle. She goes to like Camp Blood events with us, and she was like, "Take my son." He was energy. Be like, if he doesn't want to do it, I'll force him. You're like, you don't need to do that.
He was nervous.
Yeah, he's such a sweet. He's
a really fun child.
Is he 8 now? 9? He's around that age.
I don't even know my age, let alone somebody else's age.
Oh god, I saw this post yesterday where it was like, if you start with this number and subtract your age and then add this number, you'll get your birth year. And I was like, no, it didn't work, it's wrong. And then I was like, oh my god, I was using the wrong age.
I could probably guess his age because I remember when he was born.
I think he was 7 when we filmed that episode.
Yeah. Anyways, it was really fun. So it was interesting because it was very improv. Yeah, we were just going on like literally nothing.
Basically, if you didn't know, so all of our 2 so far. 2. Our monsters in the making are all basically improvised. So we'll start with like a concept and we'll do like different ideas to include.
Feel like, and then we must have this.
Yeah, and we'll bring like props. But basically when we get on set, it's basically I'm just improvising. I'm just basing it off of the environment, just saying random things. It's all improvised.
Which I think really works to the series. I feel like it makes it feel more real. Because if it was scripted, I'd actually be like, can't remember lines.
Now I just have to spew random crap.
Which I think works better.
For
this series, anyway.
I mean, I stutter all the time anyways. I think I need to go to some sort of speech therapy. Because, like, even on this, like, I'm so sorry if I'm, like, talking too fast. I tend to slur my words. I stutter. And it's like, I need to, like, work on my dictation. Because I'm just, like, I'm a nightmare to listen to.
I gotta say, for episode 1, we didn't have many expectations.
No.
We did have, like, a few, like, okay, I need this to happen. I need this to happen.
Yeah,
so like
we brought different plots.
I would guide Ashley a little bit for the interviews to be like, make sure you mention this, but like other than that, you have free reign.
Basically, the interviews we did like an actual interview. So we filmed all of the other stuff like first, and then she would basically prompt me with a question related to what happened, basically, so I like relay it and tell it as like a story through like my character's point of view. Like a normal interview.
Yeah.
And so like we came prepared with like an outline and props and everything. Like we had like the can of soup, or the can of souls, which was a can of fruit with a label I made. We had a plastic little dish for the breakable. We had the rope. We had the bloody pants. The drawing.
The bloody pants is from a different shirt.
Actually, no. I think. Never mind. No, we did do the drawing. He just added to it.
Yeah, he drew over the pre-drawing that we did.
The fake blood.
The fake blood was actually
makeup.
from our short not too long ago. It wasn't a short. It's on our Facebook if you want to see it, but we never posted it to YouTube.
Which one?
Help. Remember it's kind of based off The Magicians. It was also from my class. You're running through the woods with your bloody knees.
That one.
That one's on Facebook. We didn't post it on YouTube if you want to see it.
Basically, for one of her classes, she had to try and like recreate a scene, shot by shot.
Well, I didn't have to recreate a scene. They wanted us to do a running scene, so I took it from a scene and kind of redid it on my own for inspiration.
So we did that. We almost had the police called on us because we were in the woods in like a public place, and so obviously like I was yelling like help and like is anybody there? And we thought we were alone. And then as we were walking back, this guy comes up to us and he was like, "Are you guys okay? I heard yelling." And I was like, "Oh yeah, we're okay."
He was like, "I thought you fell through the pond." I'm like, "Do you think we're stupid? Do you think I'm gonna step into this pond?" He's like,
people do it all the time. It was like this big mill with like a pond, and so he was like, "I was about to call the fire department on you guys." We were like, "Sorry, nope, we're fine." So we were like, "Yikes."
Anyways, we didn't have too many expectations for episode 1. There was nothing I don't think we came out of going, "Oh man, wish we did this." Because Jolene did really well.
It was just, I think the most unexpected and challenging thing is obviously like you're working with kids, and kids are, you know, unpredictable. You got to be able to roll with the punches. You got to be able to work with them. You got to like meet their needs.
Maybe we should post his behind the scenes because he took our blue camera and he was filming a lot, so maybe we should post his footage.
So basically he is he's super energetic, he's very outgoing, he's very like talkative, and he likes like dancing and acting and doing all that.
Yeah, he named his character. I was like, what do you want the character to be? And he was like, Alex. And I was like, done. All right.
Yeah. And so we were like, this shouldn't be an issue at all. But as soon as the camera came out, he just got so nervous and scared and like camera shy. He kind of like was crying a little bit. His mom had to like try to like help soothe him out.
We were ready to leave though. We're like, don't like force it.
Yeah, we weren't gonna like push him through it. But basically to help make him comfortable, we gave him the blue camera and we were like, here, do you want to like see how this camera works?
Yep.
Do you want to like film us?
And we would block him a little bit because he was like the more instructions we gave, the better he did. Yeah. So like I would block it with Ashley and be like, okay, so if Ashley like here and let's say you were like here.
Yeah. And for most of it, because he was like, okay, I'll do this, but as long as the camera's not on, okay? We were like, okay. And then
like,
Makayla
can I just like practice holding it? He's like, yeah, that's fine. I was like, record.
Yeah, so she was like recording me, like, I'm just practicing with the camera, and he's like, okay. So basically, like, most of it, he enjoyed it. He was having fun because,
we had
like,
fun with him. We did the tag scene was actually tag. Like, we were actually playing tag with him.
I was about to say, the hide and seek, like, I was legitimately, like, he was actually looking for me. Like, he didn't know where it was going to be. We actually counted down. There was one scene, I don't think this was recorded. I think this was before the camera was going.
Because we played a few rounds before we recorded.
Yeah, and I would put on the mask, too, to, like, obviously, like, make him more comfortable.
I think he had you put a Deadpool mask on.
Yeah, I had, like, a Deadpool mask on with, like, a blindfold or, like, other things while he hid. And then I had to go around, and he was, like, he shoved his body inside this ottoman in the living room, and I was like, where is he? And she had to, like, direct me, like, over here, and he, like, popped out. And I was like, how did you get in there? I was like, it's a big ottoman, but it doesn't seem that big. But he fit his whole body in there. But yeah, and then he like pulled out a hoverboard. Yeah. Which he was able to use.
So you'll see that because he wanted to use it. And I was like, that's fine. I was like, I can work with this. So I just filmed above the knees.
And it just looks like he's floating away.
And like
and he was just spinning in circles. And like, alrighty.
He was great. He's really fun.
At first, like, we were gonna do like demon makeup on him to start because we were gonna do like black and eyes. And,
we did a little bit, but
he
rubbed it off.
He rubbed it and he didn't really like it. He wanted me to paint his face.
So we did that afterwards.
Yeah, he didn't like it though. He took it off immediately. He's like, I want you to make me look like Sam. If you watch Jacksepticeye, that's his like little logo, the Septiceye Sam. He wanted to look like that, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. So I painted his face as the eye, and I was like, what do you think? And he was like, I don't like it.
And he did like the drawing though. He kept that was put on the fridge. And it says, I love Satan.
666 pentagram. He's like, I want to put this on the fridge. So that was just on his fridge. And his mom was like, oh, okay. was really funny. But God, the delivery of his, like, okay, so we were like, okay, so we just want you to say what the paint is.
He does better with lines than I do, that's for sure.
Yeah, we were like, okay, so when I say this, when I say I like how you used red, I want you to say, thanks, it's from the blood of my enemies. And just the way he delivered it,
it's just the best line in the whole thing.
It makes me laugh so much every time I hear it. It's probably one of my favorite parts.
When we had the premiere of Mary Alice, that was like our pre-show. We had that episode playing, and when he said that, a lot of people were like, because I think our DP was like, I'm pretty sure he gave a look, and I was like, well, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I came up with that line. You're welcome. And then Lisa was just there in the back, like, yeah, that's my boy. So
they're a really great supportive family. I love them.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't know what we would do without them, but it was great. And I think Maddie was there too, his sister, and she was like, "Is that Joel?" I was like,
"She was like, is that my brother?" And we were like, "Yeah, we filmed with him."
And she was like, "When?" I was like, "You didn't know this?"
I didn't know she didn't know that. He went to, like, he still had face paint all over his face. Like, I don't remember. So after we took the septic eye, didn't we paint something else on him or something?
I'm not sure.
I think we did, because I think he still had it on his face. And they had, like, a reception to go to after we filmed.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
They were going to, our friends, she's in the National Guard.
Yeah,
it was like it was like a graduation or, like, some sort of like celebration thing. And they were going to that after, so he still had, like, the face paint all over him. And I don't think, like...
Oh my god, we got a little off track. There's nothing that we wished happened or anything in that one.
No, I think we got everything that we wanted.
I think it was golden in how it happened.
I think it took longer than we wanted, because obviously we just had to, like, work with him and, like, go at his pace and, like,
make him comfortable.
Which is what you should do with any actor, whether they're, like, especially children, but, like, any actor, make sure they're comfortable, they understand what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But even though it was, like, a little challenging, and she was like, I never want to work with kids again, it was like, it wasn't that bad.
And it's not because of him. I'm just not a kid person.
She's not good with kids. She doesn't understand them.
I don't understand them, so I don't know how to interact with them properly. Like, I don't know what's me talking below their education level, like what they could actually understand, versus what me talking, like, above what they can actually understand. I'm not good.
You need more exposure to them.
I don't have any exposure. The only exposure I've ever had is Jolin, because I was friends with Maddie when he was born.
Mm-hmm.
And even then, I didn't have much interaction.
I've interacted with kids a lot.
But Jolin's probably the only kid I would ever want to have an interaction with, because he's really easy to talk to.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Because I know I worked with kids a lot. When I was younger, I would help volunteer, and, like, I used to, like, go to church a lot. I would help with the kids in their younger classes. I would help with them. I would help be, like, a camp leader at the vacation church school that they did. I would help out, like, in the nursery, not, like, the babies, but, like, with the toddlers that needed help. I would basically, like, help do that. With scouts, I helped a lot with the younger girls, and helped, like, in their troops and with their projects. So it's like I've always just in schools too. I did a reading program, or went down and, like, read to younger kids in the elementary school and middle school. In high school, I was in PALS, which is basically a high school student pairs up with an elementary school student, like, once a month, and you're just, like, their buddy. So I've done a lot with kids.
Never the life that I had.
I was in child development. We ran a preschool.
The only
high school.
other interaction I had is one time I was working at a convention, and that's when my hair was shaved, and it was blonde, and I had, like, blue tips. One kid, and my hair, when it's short, it can't curl, so it flips out. And it was doing something that day. I don't know what it was doing when I was working the convention. A kid got home to me, and he was like, "You have anime hair." And I was like, "Thank you."
Kids just say such funny things.
I'm glad that's the thing he said to me, though, not like, "You're ugly," but, like, literally, like, "You have anime hair." I'm like,
kids can be brutally honest.
I was like, "Thanks. Okay. Sure, thank you."
It's like those types of videos where it's like kids say the darndest things.
we got off track. There's another short that we haven't done and hope to do when the pandemic safer. I don't think it's ever truly going to be over, but safer. And we have a hard time finding actors. We even had a hard time with Mary Alice finding actors.
Yeah.
But we ended up with the people we wanted. So, like, I'm really happy about that.
We were very happy with who we had.
Everyone was having problems. Like, it's not just us. And we have, and just because of where we are too.
Yeah, again, filming isn't a thing in New Hampshire, so most of the closest we can usually get is people from Mass and from Boston and around that area. We got a few people applying for Mary Alice, and they were across the country, and we were like, we have a tight budget, we can't afford to fly you and keep you out here. But, so sorry.
Anyways, so we wanted, if you saw our last podcast, we talked about tropes. We wanted to take a
little bit. We didn't really.
No, but we talked a little bit about it, and want to. But we want to do almost a Friday the 13th / any killer type of short.
Basically a parody.
Yeah, but really hike up any and all tropes, because I did a paper on tropes and stuff for horror films, so I know them intimately, and I was let's play with it, let's do something about it, and
let's be ridiculous with it.
We wrote ideas, and we were planning it, but we just can't find that amount of people, because we need a good camp full.
Yeah, we
almost
need
the people. We need people that look like the tropes.
Less than 10, but more than 5 or 6. Probably 7 or 8.
Yeah, and because of the way they all look, usually we need a certain look to them too, because all horror films.
Or just ridiculous wigs.
But and we need a killer, and none of us are tall men.
Let's put me in stilts.
So, we really want to do that. So if you want to help us out, let us know.
Let us know if you're interested.
Because we think it'd be pretty funny.
We would love to get it organized, because this one would take a lot of planning, because we would probably need a couple days for shooting. I mean, it's not written yet.
Well, for example,
so it would depend on how long it is.
For Whom the Bell Tolls, that was a total of 3 days. Monsters in the Making was a total of 2 days, because the interview was a separate day. So it does, even for the 5-minute shorts, it does take quite a bit.
It all depends what your costume is, makeup is, and locations, because for Whom the Bell Tolls, it's not a long short. It's how long is
5 or so minutes.
Yeah, only 5 or so minutes, but as you could see, I had these prosthetics on, I had makeup, and that took an hour.
Yeah, we would be there at our table, and I'd be latexing her,
and I'm just all right, let me get that.
Meanwhile, I'm 2 hands at once on
my face.
On her face.
So that makeup took an hour every day, and there were some days where we would have to do that, take it off, put on other makeup, which took a really long time.
That was the same with Mary Alice. So Mary Alice was a total of 4 days, regular days, morning to night. We wouldn't be. We wouldn't be in bed until past midnight, and we were up again at 7 a.m.
Loading up the cars,
which is normal for any actual.
Yeah.
This is Mary Alice is a real short, and I can't wait to release it on YouTube.
Yeah, when is that going out?
We're waiting until film festivals, because some film festivals have rules about sharing.
If you're paying attention to our social media, we were selected for New Jersey HorrorCon.
So September the latest.
So we're going to that in September.
So September the latest would be Mary Alice coming out, because we did.
Maybe we can release it near Halloween.
Yeah, maybe we can. So you'll eventually see it, but we did post a few things about it. So if you go to our social media, you'll definitely see the process from actually making the costumes to even what she looked like before. If you go to our very first posts, you can see how much she has grown into an actual character, and not just a character there to scare you.
Kind of like how in the previous podcast we were talking about how our book has developed so much from being completely flat to so 3-dimensional. This happened with Mary Alice. Originally, I know we've talked about this before, but originally she was just meant to be this creepy little short thing, and then eventually we just kept adding on, changing her costumes, making her creepier, gave her a backstory, a personality, and it's just so much more now. It went from a single piece of note paper to a chapter book.
I remember asking somebody oh, what should we name this character? And they're like, Mary or Alice, and I was like, all right, combine it, Mary Alice, which I think worked out pretty well for the name. But anyways, and I think you can see how we progressed as filmmakers and stuff too, the quality in the shots.
I would like to say that it's improved.
I would hope so. But
I don't really do any of the short things. Occasionally, I've kind of directed a couple of things. More written, and I give ideas.
It's usually me editing the shorts behind the camera, yelling at Ashley to do what she needs to do.
So some things we'll write together, other things she's okay, you have this idea, you write it. So it was we were trying to come up with So originally, like, for whom the bell tolls.
So, for example, we wanted to do something for her birthday. And I was like, okay, Ashley lately has been wanting to go out and take pictures. So I sent her, like, a few pictures of people with ornaments in their face. I was like, what do you think of doing something like this? Because our birthdays are in December.
Yeah, it's always really hard to do something for her. I haven't actually celebrated my birthday in a really, really, really long time. And I miss doing that because I loved having an excuse to, like, get people together and just enjoy time. Yeah. And so, like, I miss celebrating my birthday. So, I don't think I've done it since I was, like, 15, 16.
Did I feel like going out and taking pictures? No. I was like, but, for Ashley. And I was like, oh, and I have this red cape. I was like, so we can pair that. And I was like, and I sent her. I think
wasn't the cape first? So, like, let's go do it with this, and then afterwards we were like, we should find some like weird like horror look to do.
Because I still have the original pictures on my phone that I took from Google. Because I had two completely different set looks. Like one where it's like a full face of makeup of something. Versus, because I was looking for like Christmas horror and I was just Googling stuff. And
then, if you're in December, you're always associated with Christmas.
So then the other part was like people had ornaments in their face. So we like riffed off of that.
Yeah, we basically combined a couple, like 2 or 3 different makeup looks into one for those.
Yeah, so then I was like, okay, I should go and do this. And she bought some ornaments. Cut them up, fun stuff. So we did that, and
so it started as a photo shoot, and then we were like, this is really cool. We should, like, make a story out of this.
And Ashley's like, I have an idea. I was like, okay, go for it. I'll be here to help you, shoot and lighting and commentary for, like, what works and what doesn't work. Because she wrote this whole thing, and I remember going, it's a little much. I was like...
I don't think it was trimmed down too much, was it?
No, but I think I went, it's a little much. It's a little confusing here.
Yeah, she definitely helped fine-tune it, because I was like... Obviously, like, I have this thing.
She had a specific idea that I didn't see because it was in her head. So it helped when a separate eye goes.
Yeah. Because I know there was, like, basically what I did was I broke it down. So the first thing that came into my head was the narration. That's the very first thing that I thought of. So I wrote all that. And then afterwards to, like, help explain, like, what I was picturing with her and, like, how, like, shot ideas and stuff, I would take, like, the different, like, sections of the narration and I would do, like, a little... like explanation of like what the camera shots would be doing, what the person in the shot would be doing, and like explaining what was happening. And she was like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
And then I would suggest something and be like, okay, how about this camera thing instead? I'm like, or that camera thing's not gonna work. So that's how most things do. Like if I write something, Ashley will say the same thing. I don't understand it, that might not work. So that's how our relationship works usually. Be like, I have an idea. It goes, so like that person writes it. So like creative block was mostly me. So what I did was I wrote down feelings and words.
We both had ideas for this, like previously. We had both written down like our own variations of this, but that was a while ago. And then basically she redid hers and we went with that one. They were both basically the same thing that we came up with separately, so it worked.
Yeah, so for creative block, I wrote down, and I was just like, oh my god, it's almost like a poem. And what she did was she went through my lines, she picked a few that she liked, and we smashed them together, because they were all separate. None of these lines actually went together. I wrote quite a few lines of just feelings.
Where like basically like when I wrote the narration for Whom the Bell Tolls, I basically wrote the story. Like I wrote like the whole narration like in order, like as you hear it. I went back and like touched up some areas with like editing and whatnot. But the way that she wrote it with hers, because it's not quite as much of a story.
It's about a little feeling.
Yeah, it's a little bit more like I guess ambiguous in a sense. So she just wrote down things she was feeling, different things she wanted to include. So I was like, I really like how this sounds. I really like how that sounds. That one might not fit too well. So we like.
And she would reword a few of them.
So we like took what she wrote and then like mushed them together into
like a story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how our relationship works. If anyone's curious, it's never solely one person's thing.
It's a very
combo.
Collaborative.
It's like a circle.
Which I mean,
we keep like throwing the ball together.
When it comes to film, it's extremely hard to do it by yourself. You can't really do it unless like you're a master like videographer and writer and like editor. Even then, you still need people to like act for you, unless you're doing like completely like nature stuff.
I mean, for Whom the Bell Tolls, I know we wished for more people as well. So in our Mary Alice trailer, we had shadows, which were people she knew that did the shadows for us. And we had them on the wall, and they were arguing, and little Mary Alice was like tucked in the corner, crying in the hallway, and she wanted something similar. I remember saying to her something about it not working, and I think it's because of the lack of people. Yeah. And I was like, she's like, it can be you. I'm like, I don't resemble. I was like, my figure at all just cannot.
I was like, we just gotta block you out.
I was like, it cannot compress it into a man. I was like, and then the camera, and I was like, it'd be difficult.
But then we ended up like changing it, so we we did.
I was like, how about it rolls you up in the cape or something, and we changed it a little bit.
Well, that wasn't for that part. That was for a different part. I was gonna say,
but we changed something a little bit to work around it. But yeah, we definitely wish for more people, especially like some more dead body scenes, or actually seeing people accept her gifts, like the light being turned on or something, or like the packages that she would leave.
If you couldn't tell, the child was Mary Lou in a wig. I'm sorry if that's been completely ruined for you and you'll never see it the same way again, but that was the closest we were getting, unless we wanted to put one of my dogs under a blanket.
So, little things like that. I think most of our concerns of, we need more people.
We didn't have too many struggles filming that since it was basically on our time. I think
it was weather-wise.
Weather. The struggle. We had to push it back quite a bit, so it came out a lot later than we wanted because we had to wait to
first snow, and then when snow came, it was too much, and we had to wait.
Yeah, we couldn't get in.
We had to change a location because my car couldn't get in.
Yeah, at one place, so we turned into this place, it was this trailhead, and I was like, I think there's too much snow, and she was like, no, we're gonna try it anyways, so she went in, we got stuck.
I still had to pull in because it was a main road, and I was gonna back out, but I got stuck
just kept
anyways.
Going straight and turned around up the road, which was what I was trying to say to her, but she went in anyways. Got stuck, and I was like, well, I saw that
nice
coming.
People helped us.
So two nice men in their truck, the nice men helping us. If we weren't leaving, they weren't leaving.
Yeah.
So they helped.
They had no choice.
They helped push our car out and into the middle of this really busy road. We had to wait for an opening.
And I was like, boom!
And at the same time, I had this horror gore makeup on my face. So I had this ornament here and blood
she,
here.
She put her mask on.
So so I put a mask on to to try to cover it to spare these people. And then I realized halfway through I was like, wait, I still have some up here. That is very visible. So I don't know if they noticed it. That they had to have noticed it, but I'm assuming they probably assumed we were fine.
Yeah.
Since we were going to a trail. But they didn't say anything.
For anything we film, it's always we need more people. That's everything. That's everything that we're always working around. For our very beginning shorts, for She is Revenant, we did that one specifically because it would only require Ashley. What was the other one called? The Road Less Traveled. I also like that one. We almost did not get a second person for that one.
Something came up.
It was hard to get a second person.
So we had to, because I think, what was it? He was supposed to come one day and he couldn't. So then we had to scramble. Oh, you know what it was? Wasn't it he was supposed to come for something and we were all ready to film or whatever, so we last minute scrambled. We're we're still going to do something today anyways, and then we ended up coming up with something else. Isn't that how it came up with For She's Revenant? Because weren't we going to start with...
Something like that. But, that was the same with Supernatural Junior too. I didn't want to play Mary. I can't act. I needed to do the camera, so it became difficult when all three of us in the scene. Meg luckily was there and filmed a good portion of it for us.
And we were so lucky when Heather came in because we were we have another person.
She actually auditioned and sent us in tapes and stuff.
Yeah. It was very formal, but also not.
I think I worked out Mary okay enough. But
you made her very based on you, which is how you got her to work.
Yeah, that's the only reason why she worked, is because I had to put my tone of voice.
Yeah, basically we had to have her character written in a way that she could portray her.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't get anybody else.
Yeah, and I'm uncomfortable in front of cameras. Even doing this YouTube thing is almost like a push for me because I'm not comfortable. So, yeah, that's for most of everything we ever shoot. It's we need people. Okay, we can't have people. We need to rewrite this because we can't find anybody. So, let's do this. But, I guess maybe it's almost a fun challenge at this point.
Yeah, it is interesting seeing, what you can get, what ideas you can get.
Yeah, because there's another short that we're playing around with. where the camera is going to be the character, so that, you know, also helps with the people.
I feel like it's gonna almost be a challenge to us if we're actually able to like have people easily like access, and we have to like write stories with most like multiple people, because we're usually just used to just writing with only one person and doing it like as small as we can.
And what's nice about it, just doing it with Ashley, we can do whatever we want basically.
It's a lot easier to schedule wise, because now we're just going between our 2 schedules rather than around like 8 different schedules.
Yeah, because with Mary Alice, I mean, the scheduling wise wasn't actually that difficult. But, because we had everything planned mostly beforehand.
And we were the 2 leads, so it was basically off of our schedule. And if our team was available, great. If they're not, then either we find somebody else, or they have to work around it.
Yeah, so in Mary Alice, when we actually had people with actual lines, and we had people actually interacting with each other, it was very different for us. And it was something that, because then I had to go, okay, so we need back and forth, we need to fold, and which is different, because with Ashley's character, she didn't talk. So we got these really nice, like, looking shots, and we didn't have to worry about the back and forth. And when you have characters, it's the back and forth and the dialogues, and so it's definitely different. But I gotta say, that's probably our number one workaround is we want to do this, but man, it requires people, so let's rework it or stash it away for another day.
And we're just like, how soon are people gonna get sick of seeing my face? How long until they're like, I want to see somebody else?
Yeah. Is there any other shorts we've done that you go, oh, man, I wish? I mean, obviously our older stuff. Actually, for the Road Less Traveling for Your Shoes reference, I wouldn't change for the world. But obviously, there's older stuff that I see that I go, oh, I could definitely do that better now.
I know one thing that kind of like bugged me a little bit when we were doing the Road Less Traveled. There was one specific, so with the cape, I wanted it included in the shot with the decorations to be like, oh, that's where you got it.
No, For Whom the Bell Tolls.
What did I say?
The Road Less Traveled.
Oh. That's what I
meant. For Whom the Bell Tolls.
I had it in my head. I just said the wrong name because too many names were getting thrown around. For Whom the Bell Tolls, the cape, obviously, like, because I was like, people have to know, like, where it came from. Like, she can't just randomly get, like, a cape out of nowhere, like, from the gods who decide, boom, you're Christmas now. But, so I wanted it to be, like, included with the Christmas decorations, to be like, oh, it must have been, like, a decoration type of thing.
But when there's only 2 people handling everything, something like that is easily forgotten.
So, like, when I was setting it up, the cape was in the other room just because we couldn't have too much out in my living room, because my family was home too. Like half of them were like sitting there.
They were just watching us. Like,
yeah, they were just watching me throw myself into a pile of boxes.
We had to dig our Christmas tree back out and put it up and put it away.
Yeah, because we had to postpone postpone filming, so all my Christmas stuff got put away. So we had to go bring it back up, and I was like, "Hey, Mom, we're gonna be putting this up. I hope you don't mind us. We're gonna turn the TV down for a little while." And then as I was throwing myself into my decorations, my dog came running over and was like, "What are you doing? Are you okay?" So we had to like get her distracted. But yeah, so I forgot about the cape and putting it in there.
I was trying to frame the camera. I was like trying to get this smooth. I was listening.
So we forgot to put that in there, and I was really like aggravated at the end. I was like, should we redo that? We can't. That's a whole thing to like redo.
Too long. I shut her down on that. She's like, I was like, if you feel like.
I was like, I feel like it's really missing a chunk out of this. I feel like it's really taking away from it.
I told her if push comes to it, I put it together and she really wants it, we'll go film it again.
I mean, I still do want it in there because I feel like it's a big element missing. But now I guess it just has to be like implied and like hope that people assume that that was in there.
Well, he did wrap you up in it to throw you away, so.
Well, yeah, but then it's also like, why did they just have a cape lying around? I wanted that like association to be like, okay, it was with their Christmas stuff.
I could say For Whom the Bell Tolls too. I was originally wanting like a narration, like how all Christmas stories start. You have a narrator sit down, crack open a book, and once upon a time. That's how I originally wanted it to go.
And I was going to add that in, and I think I did start adding that in, but you decided against it or something?
Well, you weren't really into it, and I don't like doing things unless the other person is mostly agreeing on it.
I didn't think it would really fit just because of the way it was written. Like, we would just have to add in a lot of extra stuff because it was like a book wouldn't really match with the story.
We had 2 different ideas for it, and I was picturing more, let's go with the Christmas trope, crack open a book, and it turns out she was telling the story about herself. Like, she was reading a story about her.
Yeah, she was basically, it's the character's voice, so she's, like, speaking from the ether world or whatever about like what happened to her and telling her tale. And I had this like great, like one of the first things I thought of was the ending where it's just like, have you been good this year? Because it's like, you know, like naughty nice, have you been good? If you're not, I'm gonna get you. And so like I just had this like image, like she was just like originally we wanted to do it on the bridge in the that we did the photos on.
We wanted to go to a few spots,
but that was the place.
The photos.
But that was the place that we couldn't get into because it wasn't shoveled out.
Yeah.
And just full with snow. So
we couldn't delay any longer.
Yeah, so we just did it. It was still a really pretty location, but I think it just missed that like that touch of like audio and like intimacy and closeness or whatever. But it still came out looking nice. But I just had that envision like, have you been good this year? And then just cuts. So I think that's why I was just like, I don't know how we would end with it because I just feel like that ending would be like really like dramatic and just worked really well with it.
And what I wanted was for her to like rip the cape off of something. She closes the book and she goes, and that person was me, and she like rips the cape off and puts it on and she looks different. That's originally what I was going for. But, things turn out how they should be.
Yeah. Kind of like, again, how like we were talking about with writing, you just kind of go with things and just see where they take you, and then you just go with what fits.
Yeah. I think Block turned out, I think the only thing with Block is I wish it was a little bit less blurry due to lighting and a little bit more crisp. Mm-hmm. But I think that's about it.
Yeah. The lighting is really hard in my house because, my bedroom, I have a warm light and my walls are not a color that I want. They're pink, so they're very warm, it's very warm and it's just dark in general, so it's hard to get good lighting in my house.
You can always assume the fuzziness of it is because of the fuzziness of her mind. If you think about it like that.
It just takes a lot of thinking. You gotta really analyze it.
I honestly love She's Revenant. There's just something about it that I really like. I don't know.
I have my own stockings now that are thigh high.
Yeah, she wore those for mine.
Yeah, the leggings that I wore in that ring, because we were kind of going for like a Tim Burton-y kind of feel.
Love Tim Burton. Yeah, definitely we're thinking Tim Burton. We're thinking like a party girl. So if it didn't come across, it was more like her and some friends were like drinking and partying and like, woo, 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 woo. And she gets killed by accident and they all leave her there. Mm-hmm. So she's like, revenge.
Yeah, so her ghostly spirit
is traveling the path to get to the house.
Yeah. And shows up and is like, because bitches, I'm back.
The cemetery she's in, that's her looking at where she was actually buried. So then when she starts walking more mad, it's because she goes, oh, I'm dead. Because before then, she's just wondering, she's like, am I?
That's my name. That's my birthday.
Because she's like, before then, she's just kind of like wandering.
She's like, what am I doing here? I feel like I'm in a daze. Like, what's going on?
And then she sees like the cemetery, she goes, wait, am I dead? I'm dead.
Who did this to me?
And then she remembers and gets mad.
This is the last person I was with. I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
It's basically, I'm here.
Would have showed more of the party once again if we had people. Supernatural's the most amount of people we've ever actually had to work with. Even Mary Alice was a very short cast. Small cast.
Originally, so Supernatural Junior at first, it started out with like our big group of friends, and we had like photo shoots and did like fun things, and we got a couple episodes filmed, but things just like people became unavailable. It was really hard to get the group together.
We had to recast.
Everybody was really busy, so we were like, okay, we can't like swing this with everybody, and this is something we actually want to do. So we rewrote it a little bit, made it a little bit better. Then,
recast,
tried to get other people. Look at those ears. Ear steps.
It's not Mom. She won't be home till 9. So, but yeah, I think that's all I have to say about that stuff. What about you?
Nothing.
There's
if
always
we went in a better order. I'd probably be able to.
There's always something you can do better.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about filmmaking. You're always learning. You're always getting better. You should always keep striving to be better.
Yeah, never just assume you're always at the top, because I mean, like, once you're at the top, you don't have anywhere to go but down.
You can always learn.
Yeah.
You should always be learning. Like Monsters in the Making, like every time I film, whenever we do something, I'll make a mental note to go either never do that again or need to do this instead. So then when I go and film again, I'll try to eliminate the problem that we had last time. Whether or not I tell, I don't really tell Ashley because it's just camera work. She's not the one filming, it's me. So.
Yeah, because I don't know if there's ever going to be a case where I need to be behind the camera because you're in front of it. That's just not likely.
So, I just make these mental notes in my head and go, don't do this, do this. So I'm always picking up and learning what I need to do or what I not need to do. And I feel like you should always be like that. I don't care how rich, popular you are. I feel like you always need to learn. Oh, that character story didn't work out. I wonder why. Maybe because I need to flesh it out more. Anything, literally anything.
Don't just get discouraged because you think something failed. Maybe it didn't, or if it did, just try to learn why. And a failure is a step of learning. It just means you're learning what not to do or what to do better.
I do know that I went through a rut with Mary Alice at one point. So it went, for me, Mary Alice went to, oh my god, obviously it's still the best thing we've ever done. But we're obviously going to get better than that. But I got into a shot with Mary Alice where it went from me being really proud of what it was to me thinking it was the worst thing I've ever done. And I remember talking to Meagan and Ashley about it, and I was just getting really upset about it for some reason. And artists do usually always hate their work. Yeah. So I had to learn to love it again because it's actually not.
Yeah.
It's not bad at all.
Because I know it was kind of a hard time where she was just oh my god, I am not happy with this right now. We can't do this premiere party. We can't do this. And we were we've already reserved it. We gotta. But then it just took a minute to realize, even if you're not happy with some parts of it, it's still a learning experience. This is a school project.
Yeah. But, I think of all the struggles I went through trying to get it done and and all the hard work everyone put into you just gotta at least appreciate that. And I know when I started onto the big screen, I did a big relief because I go, okay, it's not I went back to being proud of it again.
It was the best you could have done with it at the time. So even though you could probably do better now or in the future or whatever, it's the best for what you could do at that point, which makes it
with Supernatural Junior, I thought I would go from proud to hate, like Mary Alice. But I've always just had a love for it. So I don't know why Mary Alice all of a sudden just got under my skin and I want no one to see this. I literally went, I'll share it with people, come watch it, to me going, no one's allowed to see it ever. It's, no one's ever gonna see this ever again. I'm shutting it down, and I'm just gonna leave it as it was. But
it could have been because of just there was so much hype around it, and so it was probably a little bit of anxiety or probably some imposter syndrome.
I don't know. It was. Looking back, I have mixed feelings with it now, and I don't know. It's just because I've looked at it so much that maybe I just went crazy.
It's probably that, and also because we know it's not what it could be right now because it's not the full film that we want it to be. It's a very, very small portion. It doesn't make sense for a reason. If you it makes sense to us.
It makes enough sense
for other people.
For the short, it makes enough sense to be what it is.
It does.
But we wanted to expand it.
And I know you also had some difficulty because your teacher required you to add in things that you didn't want to add in, so that kind of also ruined it a little bit for you.
For me, but I understand why. This is an outside perspective looking in, and from an outsider, someone said you need this, but I was having a hard time because I didn't want it. At the end of the day, did I really have to put it there? No, I could have completely ignored her and not done it. But obviously I did it for a reason because...
Your grade.
Well, no, not even... It wasn't even about the grade. At the end of the day, it's about...
It just needed a little something to help the people who didn't have the full story
because
in mind.
Maybe I have I had a hate-love relationship because I wrote the script, I directed the script, I eat, breathe, live Mary Alice. I was editing it. 4 hours a day, and the editing was going wrong. I was having so many problems, and I believe I probably talked about this when the discussion that we had, video out if you guys want to check it out.
Yeah.
But I was just having a lot of problems with editing it because my poor Mac was trying to run 4K proxies, and because at that point we got sent back home because of COVID, so I didn't have
the resources that you needed.
The computer that I needed to run it, and
they wouldn't let you like stay on. Like some people with certain circumstances could have stayed on campus if you needed like labs, but
they were trying to get seniors to be able to stay so that we had the access to stuff that we needed to finish the project. But at the end of the day, I had to relearn to love it because I still don't quite understand my downfall of saying I want to keep it close to my chest and no one's allowed to see it, because I love all the hard work we put into it. I love everybody that worked on it. It was such a great cast and crew. Everyone, it just worked well together. Because I remember just talking to everybody every day. Do you have any problems? Let me know. How did it go? And I was like asking all these questions at the end of every day. I'm like, is there anything I did wrong that I could, work better the next time? Or,
I mean, that is both of us too, because
just never
is nothing.
Whatever project you do, and like even
Wednesday, stop.
So for whatever project you do, and we talked about things we wanted to do but couldn't do, or things like that, and at the end of the day, you just gotta appreciate it for what it is, or what it was, because it's a step in the right direction for you getting better. So you just gotta love them, because that was you at the time, and your next one is gonna be better and better and better and better.
Until you're where you want to be.
Until you're where you want to be. And I think that's why I love Supernatural Junior so much, because that was our first project.
We had literally no training, no expertise. We were literally just doing it just to do it.
Yeah, so, just learn to love. I mean, artists don't tend to like their own stuff because they stared at it for countless amount of hours, and it's all they've done for countless amount of days or months or years, and it becomes a point where you just like, I hate it, but just remember that you did what you could do at the time, and just learn. Like, all the projects we've done, yes, it would have been cool if we could have a Sasquatch. Yes, it would have been cool to have more people for whom the bell tolls, to actually show more of a relationship. Yes, but at the time, we did what we could do, and you just, I guess, gotta appreciate that.
Roll with the punches.
Yeah.
Make the best of a lousy situation.
Do what you can do for the moment. And don't regret that moment, because you made a decision.
Live in the moment, YOLO.
You made a decision, and don't go back on that.
Yeah.
Because that was you in the past.
Yes, and yourself.
Yeah. But I think that's a good place to end it. We can always talk about each and every process of any video if you guys are curious. We can. We'll always be happy to talk more about Mary Alice. The difficulties of her changing costumes and makeup, because those costumes were difficult to get in and out of.
Questions about Mary Alice or any of our shorts. If we got enough questions, we could do a Q&A video.
Yeah, if it's how did you do this, or
what's your favorite color,
or
what was the idea behind this,
or why didn't this look good?
What's the deal with this?
How did you do the ornaments on her face? How did you get the color? Anything, literally anything. Sorry for my dogs. I think someone's home.
Wednesday.
So, anyways, like, comment, subscribe, share, everything. Do everything. Please support us. Let us know that you're here, because we would like to get out of our sucky retail job. Please.
Pay our bills. Hand it over.
Not even that, just enough so I can get a different job.
Yeah.
But, yes, let us know. If you have any topic suggestions you want us to talk about, let us know. But, I think that's it. I think that's everything. Bye, guys.